Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, one of the statistics that racists love to cite is the FBI crime statistics. Because the FBI crime statistics do show that black people have a higher rate of crime than white people. Now, there are many ways that those statistics are skewed. For example, the way, as we've seen, the way black neighborhoods are policed, and the way the justice system works. For example, the intrinsic bias in the justice system. For example, black people are pulled over way more often than white people are, and they are searched more. If they're charged with the crime, white people and black people, for example, who commit the same crime, the white person, for example, let's say assault, the white person is more likely to be charged with misdemeanor assault, where the black people is likely to be charged with felony assault, even though they both did the exact same thing. When they get to court, the white person is more likely to be acquitted, regardless of the evidence. And the sentence for a black person is usually much longer for a black person than a white person, even if the crime is the same. But that's only a slight portion of how those crime statistics get skewed. There are several other ways. For example, the overall FBI crime statistics show that black people do commit crimes at a higher rate than white people do. But those statistics by themselves don't tell the whole story. The rate of poverty among black people is 26%. The rate of poverty among white people is 10.1%. And poverty is the greatest predictor of the likelihood of crime. But there's another predictor that people don't know that much about, and that is location, location, location. In poor urban areas, the crime rate is always going to be higher, no matter whether it's white people or black people that live there. As a matter of fact, the statistics show that in poor urban areas where white people live and poor urban areas where black people live, the crime rate is roughly the same. The crime rate is lower in poor rural areas. And more white people live in poor rural areas than urban areas. Black people tend to be concentrated in the cities. White people tend to be out in the boondocks. But in rural areas where white people live, the crime rate is about the same as rural areas where black people live. And the reason why the crime rate is lower in rural areas is really simple. There's less opportunity to commit crime than there is in an inner city where everybody's all packed in together, and there's less chance of getting away with it. If I live in Watts, for example, there are tons of liquor stores. So I don't have to go very far to find a liquor store where the owner won't know me and rob that one. I have a better chance of getting away with it. If I'm in a rural area and I go to rob the liquor store, chances are the owner's going to know me, because he's maybe the only liquor store in town, or maybe one of two. So the odds of my being unknown by that owner are very small, and the odds of my getting away with that crime are very small. But in urban areas where poverty exists, no matter who lives there, white people or black people, the crime rate is about the same. And it's the same for the crime rate in rural areas. And since more white people live in rural areas than black people do, that crime rate is lower. Somebody once did a study where they compared Appalachia to Cincinnati and used the results of that study to come to the conclusion that that black people commit crimes at a higher rate than white people do. But that's comparing apples and oranges. Cincinnati is a vastly different place than Appalachia. So that's an example of the skewing of the statistics. And there are all kinds of factors that go into that. Poverty, the way the community is policed, and the opportunity and likelihood of getting away with the crime. Thanks for listening.